Hey everyone, this is Kevin from thechesswebsite.com, and today we're going to be going over a game between Kasparov and Topalov, and many players have said that this is the greatest chess game ever played. Now we'll let y'all debate between, if y'all think this is the greatest game ever played, but it is Kasparov's immortal game, and pretty much all the top GMs, famous players, have their own immortal game, and it's just that. It makes them considered immortal in the chess world. So, Garry Kasparov, many consider the greatest chess player to ever play the game. If this is his immortal game, then I will have to say this is probably one of the best games ever played. So with that said, Garry Kasparov playing the white pieces and Topalov playing the black pieces. Starts out with pawn e4, pawn d6, pawn d4, knight f6, knight c3, pawn to g6, and Topalov really decided that he wanted to play the perk defense, and so that's what black is going to be playing here. If you haven't watched the video on the perk defense and you want to get a foundation of how the perk defense really plays out and kind of the themes before you watch this video, definitely feel free to go watch that. But if not, we'll go ahead and continue. White played bishop to e3, bishop to g7, fianchettoing his bishop, queen to d2. Now you can already see from white that he's already developed his knight here to c3 and his bishop here to e3, and once he moved his queen to d2, it's very apparent that he was looking to castle on the queen side. A lot of times if you're white and you develop your light square bishop and your knight here to possibly f3, a lot of times that will signal that you're going to castle on the king side. But from here he's already made way to castle on the queen side, so that's more than likely what Kasparov had in the back of his mind as far as where he wanted to castle. Black decided to play pawn to c6, and white played pawn to f3. Now this is in a very aggressive line from white here, and it's probably one of the newer lines that we've seen at top level play in 1999. This hasn't been analyzed too much around this time that it was played. So right away we can see that Garry Kasparov had spent a lot of time on this opening, and he really knew what he was doing. He was trying to put another defender on this pawn here on e4, and at the same time he was really looking to castle on the queen side. Play continued with pawn to b5, and this is very important play right here from black. He does two things with this move. The first thing is he advances a pawn to gain space on the queen side, starting to push his pawns down the board of the queen side. At the same time, it prevents a very strong move from white. White would really like to bring his bishop to c4. It's a very powerful square. It's a great square for the light square bishop, and because of this play from black on b5, it really prevents this light square bishop coming to c4 and attacking this square here on f7. So this move does multiple things, and you're going to see this a lot in this game. There's a lot of fantastic moves that have kind of dual roles, and this is one of those dual role moves right here. This pawn here on b5 not only advances a pawn to gain space on the queen side, but it also keeps this light square bishop, and you can see later on in this game this light square bishop is pretty much pinned down to this f1 square, and is really going to be the last piece that white develops, and it's mainly due to this pawn here on d5. Play continues from here with white bringing his knight to e2. He realizes that he's not going to be able to bring his light square bishop right away, so instead he decides that it's okay to block off the light square bishop with his knight here on e2, since it's really not a good square that he wants to bring his light square bishop to. From here, black's going to bring his knight to d7, and white's going to play bishop to h6. And why does he do this? Well, anytime you fianchetto your bishop to the king side, as black did with his bishop on g7, this dark square bishop here is a very important piece, not only for this long dark diagonal, but at the same time defending this king here if the king decides to castle on the king side. Now once white plays this, black pretty much knows that he's not going to be castling on the king side, and so instead of that he decides to go ahead and trade off bishops and instead try to get a little center dark square play in the center. So right away he knows with this queen here on h6, he's not going to be castling on the queen side, so he decides to really focus on the dark squares in the center, knowing that he's probably going to be castling on the queen side. Play continues with black bringing his bishop to b7, continuing his development of his minor pieces. And white's going to play pawn to a3, and this is a very important move because it's a prophylactic move, kind of waiting to see what black does. White eventually wants to castle on the queen side, but this is a very important move. If white were to first castle on the queen side, black could come in with his pawn to b4 and disrupt really what white's plans are. White would be forced to move this knight before he castles, and that's not really what he wants to do. So instead, as most top-level GMs do, they always find the right times to play a prophylactic move, and this is exactly that time where he plays a3, kind of a waiting move to see what black does, and at the same time preventing black from coming in and playing b4 right after this castling on the queen side. So from here, black plays pawn to e5. Again, in the Perk defense or any hypermodern defense, once you really develop your minor pieces, you're really trying to attack the center with your minor pieces, and then later on you want to counterattack or attack and gain center control with your pawn. So that's exactly what Topalov